Here's some math that only a liberal could love. 16 to 19-year-old Americans currently have an unemployment rate of nearly 28%. Young African Americans are approaching a nearly 50% jobless rate. So what's the left's answer to this growing crisis? Slapping a tax on being young. That's the net effect that an individual mandate for health care coverage will have on America's youth. With Congress unconstitutionally mandating that every American have health insurance coverage, it will be young Americans just starting out in the job market who will bear the biggest financial burden of Obamacare. Of course, even the young should seriously consider having catastrophic health insurance coverage in case of unforeseeable accidents. But by and large, there's a very good reason that 20-somethings aren't rushing to buy expensive insurance plans. They don't need them. And even the relatively inexpensive catastrophic plans that they might need or want will not be allowed under Obamacare. Think about the scenarios for which Americans usually buy insurance. They are things like car accidents, flooded homes, or arson. What do all of these occurrences have in common? They're incredibly expensive. But the average young person's health care costs are anything but. It's an unpleasant fact of life for those who aren't in their 20s anymore. But when you're young, you can withstand almost anything. Eating right means getting some vegetables on your pizza. Exercising means moving your used keg out to the curb on trash day. And preventative care means downing a Red Bull before an all-night cram session. But the liberals behind Obamacare know that the money to fund their expansion of government has to come from somewhere. Since young and healthy Americans have few incentives to consume health care, the architects of the government takeover of health care are counting on the youngsters' premiums, or the fines for refusal to pay those premiums, to subsidize expanded care for older, sicker Americans. This plan is just plain wrong. Government shouldn't be forcing some of America's most economically fragile citizens to spend money on things that they don't need or want. And it shouldn't be creating a system that aims to fix health care by punishing the healthy and rewarding the sick. Most importantly, government shouldn't continue leaving American business in fear of its next move, because that is precisely the kind of fear that will leave so many of these young people continuing to languish on the unemployment rolls. During his campaign, Barack Obama prided himself on his ability to connect with young Americans. As the health care debate heats up, though, that relationship may begin to cool off. Obamacare will mean higher taxes, fewer jobs, and less freedom for the same youth vote that helped to put him in the White House. Can the president hang on to this vital slice of the electorate? Only if he remembers that some things are more important to young voters than celebrity status, and that one of them is being allowed to keep your freedom. That's this week's Freedom Minute.